Hi, I'm Pav, and thank you for tuning in to my short video on how to perfect the work, life and training balance for cyclists. Now, this is something that I talk quite a lot about in my videos, my blogs, or if you're a client, you would have heard me say this an awful lot. But training should be synergistic with your life, whether that is work or family, kids, partner, any commitment that you have. Training should fit seamlessly into that and around that. If your training feels like a chore or like a burden or like something that you're having to squeeze in, which is inconvenient, take a step back and really look at yourself objectively. This video would definitely help you out. I think that even if you feel like your training is synergistic, watch this video because there'll be some tips in there to make it even easier for you. So as normal, I will talk a little bit about other resources that I've written, either blogs or recorded videos. If you're in my YouTube channel, I'll post every link in the description. If you're on my website, the blog that is below this video will have links to it as well. So just so that if you finish and you think that something could be explained a bit better or anything like that, you'll find that resource there. Okay, I'm going to start at the top of this and just explain, why as amateur athletes, we have it much harder than professional athletes. That's not to say that the training is even harder, but trying to fit it in is. As a professional athlete, your work is your training. So, ultimately you've already got one less thing potentially to worry about in terms of, planning out your day. The professional cyclists that I know that have since retired tell me that the 10 hours that they train around their 40-hour a week work job are the hardest training that they've ever done, including the 30 hours they used to ride around as a professional athlete. So I think that tells you something, and we'll put it into a lot of perspective. Okay, so something that I always talk about a lot is your commitment towards your goals. I think that we have a habit of going into things with this false expectation that we should commit 100% to whatever we do. It's the same with our, cycling, a sports performance. It's just not realistic, like chasing perfection. So I always say that, look at yourself, work out what it is that you think that you're going to sacrifice, whether you want to enjoy the journey a little bit more, and then set your goals according to that. In that way, you will see gains over a longer period of time because you're going to commit to the training for a longer period of time. And that, that's just, fact. For an amateur athlete, there has to be an element of, fun and enjoyment. And you can't be expected to commit the same way as a professional athlete will. So, I think that that's number one. I think definitely check out those videos if you've not seen them already, because you can't really get everything right without starting with your accurately setting your goals. The best way to look at this is to consider yourself and maybe start with a lifestyle audit. This is something I do, day one with all my new athletes and regularly revisit with a lot of my existing athletes. And that is, you can simply, get out a calendar, with hour per day view, and then mark in exactly what you do every hour of the day. And it might not be quite as perfect as you'd like it to look, but we just want to get a picture of what you do on a regular day. Now, for some, obviously, you're probably sleeping hopefully around 8 hours a day, so it only leaves you with 16 to go. During the week, most days you're probably going to have maybe 7, 8 or more hours of work as well, so you're running out of space to fit everything in. So I think that once you start to look at it like this, you're going to see actually where you might be able to squeeze some more training time in. Simple things are looking at yourself, especially your work, and trying to figure out whether or not there's an opportunity to get more bike time around your work. Now, I'm not a massive fan of commutes or training during commutes. I think that they can be really challenging, and the last thing most people want after a long day at work is to be worried about traffic and everything and trying to time in all of your intervals or anything like that. But having said that, if you do need extra time on the bike, even if you're just doing sort of simple, maybe not base work if it's a short ride, but maybe pushing into a little bit of a tempo ride on the way home, can give you some extra bike time. And I think that's really important, especially if you are looking at the 5 hours or potentially even less of training time. I think this is a great opportunity there. So commuting by bike is also a win for the environment, obviously, but can be beneficial if you really are strapped for time. You don't have to do it every day, but 3 times a week might be great, and then the other 2 days you could factor in some intervals at home on the trainer or whatever it is for you. I'm also a big fan of us looking, trying to convince our employers, and a lot of employers are getting this now. Actually, if we can make sure that our employees are healthy and as happy as possible, productivity goes up. So there might be an opportunity, depending on where you work and what you do, to be able to actually find some time to train at work. Now, of course, you might not have enough time in your lunch break to be able to actually do a good quality session. Most people, probably getting about 30 to 60 minutes if you're lucky for lunch and you've got to eat. So there might be something that you can work out with your boss where you come in earlier or you leave later in order to actually get a good quality training session in. Of course, what the other benefit to that is you might be able to time your commute, even by car or train or public transport, whatever it is, at a different time. So you're not doing a 9 to 5 if that is a problem for you. Much like you're trying to involve your boss and your workplace with your cycling, you do the same with your home life. And again, not that it's optimal, but actually going on a family bike ride if you've got kids or your partner is another good way of getting in some time on the bike. And you could tie in some of that where maybe they join you for the second half of your training ride, or maybe this is in addition. I don't know, anything, and just try and look at the way that you plan your training to see if you can get that family time in. Involving them could be a real good benefit to see more bike time, which could be obviously a great benefit for you. But similarly, off the bike strength work can be done with your family too, whether you want to all hit the gym or even do some weightlifting with your kids on you as your weights. Just be a bit creative with it. Obviously stay safe, but I think that there's loads of opportunities for you to carve out a bit more training time around a really busy family life. Of course, the biggest one, and I think we're all guilty of it, is saying that we don't have enough time, yet you're probably actually sitting on your phone quite a bit. I definitely would do a digital detox if you are somebody who is constantly on your phone, or you haven't got a lot of time, you think you haven't got a lot of time. Do a digital detox, which is just trying to avoid all of your phone or TV or anything like that, except for specific times during the day or whenever you have to, and just see what that frees up. I mean, most people will easily free up 30 minutes a day by not checking emails once an hour, or responding to emails whenever you receive them in. And I think that most people like that you will understand exactly why you're doing that. So the last thing to do, if you're really still stuck with this, is get out your lifestyle audit, which we created earlier, and start to anchor down your day. Now, what I mean by that is that you have specific tasks that you have to do at certain times a day. Now, that could be work, it could be, drop the kids off at school or pick them up. Then work around each and individual task and see what time you can squeeze out. Now, what this might allow you to do is to work out, well, actually, if you timed leaving work a bit better, maybe you could pick the kids up on the way home, rather than having all of these, grey 15-minute spots, which are great for maybe a time out, but ultimately you're not going to be able to squeeze nothing in. But if you have 4 15 minutes a day where you're not really doing much, you squeeze them together and you get an hour, and there's an extra hour on the bike. So definitely look at yourself like that, and see if there is any way you could reorganize your day in order to be able to get an extra hour on the bike. And that's really it. It's a massive part of what I do with my clients, especially those who are busy, but ultimately it doesn't have to be something that you stress about. It shouldn't be something you stress about. If you can only get 30 45 minutes 3 times during the week, and then a longer ride and maybe some set of intervals at the weekend, you're still going to do great things. You're going to be able to progress, provided you're doing the right thing. I work with athletes who literally do 3 30-minute trainer sessions midweek, 1 long ride at the weekend, and then 1 other interval session, and they still see great results. It's just about making sure you maximize that time you have available. But ultimately, there are ways in which you can improve that or increase that time. So again, if you're stuck with any of this and you want some extra help, or you're just a bit confused, reach out to me. Consultations are free, 15 minutes, no obligation to work with me going forward, but you know, there might be an opportunity to do that if that's what you're looking for. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure if you're on my YouTube, you give me a thumbs up, share with your friends and subscribe so you don't miss anything else. And if you're on my website, similar thing, make sure you sign up to receive notifications of when I drop new blogs. So thank you again for watching, and I'm Pav, and have an awesome day.